Hey guys, I'm super excited to put together this video, which is going to help anyone who is a high performer. Now, if you're a business owner and you've got any kind of ambition, you're naturally going to have a lot of stress on your hands. It could be, people management, team, if you're dealing with us members of staff, that's stress in itself, trust me. If you're dealing with payments and like clients, you could be in litigation. There's so many things in a business that could go wrong, and therefore stress management is always part of a business owner's life. Now, this can also apply to a corporate executive. So if you're someone who's in an extremely high paid job or any job, let's be honest, most people do feel very stressed out in a job that is demanding, because I guarantee your salary is never actually worth the amount of effort that you actually make. That's why we always say, if you want to make that kind of money and still be happy, be a business owner, because technically you should be able to make that money in less hours. The only benefit of being a corporate executive is that technically you should be able to leave that work at work and the stress at work, but that doesn't happen, right? People are ruining their health over stress, and that's why I really want to talk about this. So this video applies to a business owner, how to deal with stress, to a corporate executive, someone who's in a powerful position, or someone who's working in a demanding job, and of course everybody else. It could be you are a parent or you are a student. There is so much stress in our lives that we forget how to manage it. And I'm going to give you the 6 simple hacks that I've been using for a long time. I cannot remember exactly when, but I'm a person who has naturally struggled with anxiety, with stress. It's just the wiring in my head. Actually, if we go back to the neuroscience, where did this start? Some people are neurologically designed to be more anxious, and that was me. From my upbringing, etc., I was only wired to be anxious. So I'm not going to talk about those kind of neuroscience things right now, because this is just about stress hacks. So I'm going to help you no matter what your background and your upbringing. These hacks are going to help the individual who is currently going through a lot of stress. And just in case you didn't know me and what I've been doing peak performance coaching, or I've been in this industry of self-help education since 2012. I love it. It's something I absolutely feel like I've got a lot of purpose. I've been on front covers of magazines. Actually, it's on the wall there, if you can see. And this is actually a magazine that's in Monaco, and they invited me to be on cover because they absolutely love what I do. And I was quite happy to build my high net worth network through this, because this is stuff that only goes in private jets and very high net worth into places where these people hang out. So that's my positioning. So my typical client is a high net worth, a banker. I've worked with many tier 1 banks. The banks pay me to coach their bankers to get them to a higher level of performance and earnings, because usually what's blocking them is stress, a lot of subconscious belief systems that are sabotaging them, so many things. But when I go through, part of their coaching is how to deal with stress, because most of them have very crazy stress management, or what we do is we self-medicate by excessive alcohol. People do drugs, people do all sorts of crazy things, addiction to all sorts of activities that are just not going to help them move forward in life. So my job as someone who's very strict, actually, the only reason I can be this strict is because I've been that much more stricter on myself. Like, I have been the biggest guinea pig in all of my training, so someone like me can manage. I know that I can teach you how to do it too, right? Okay, so let's start with the normal stuff, because I just want you to remember that a stressful person forgets, like, just on a neurological level. And look at all the books behind me. I'm obsessed with this topic. Most of my books on my shelf are either about neuroscience, anything about peak performance, spirituality, and wealth. Like that's it, like there's nothing else on those bookshelves that actually, the biographies are all designed to be about peak performance. If I buy a biography of anyone's, it's because I'm obsessed with why are they so amazing. I would never buy some random fiction. I'm not into that. That's just not me. So trust me, I live and breathe everything I'm talking about in this video and all my other videos, which, by the way, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I really want to do more regular videos, and I will do if you interact with me more and show me that you're subscribing and that you actually enjoy this content. And please give it a thumbs up too, and also write comments about your experiences and how this maybe has helped you, or what your experiences have been in any kind of stress and how you've dealt with it. Okay, so let's go for the simple hacks now. Okay, 6 simple hacks that anyone can do right now, today, and it will help you reduce the stress that you're going through, no matter what it is. Okay, so number one, avoid high carb foods. Now, everyone knows what a carb is. If you didn't, it's stuff like pasta, like sweets and sugars and all of those things that we all love so much. And I absolutely do love them. But if you have an important event that you've got to be on top form for, like I'm not saying never eat carbs in your life. What I'm saying here is if you want to be at your highest performance level for an event, maybe you're a business owner and you're holding a conference, or you're holding this big event, right? Or you are a corporate executive and you've got this massive meeting, like you've got to close some deals, you've got some negotiation, or you're applying for a new job, or a student that has to pass exams, or a parent who has to like somehow juggle their life together, by being a parent and everything else. All of this will apply to you. So by avoiding the high carb foods, I'm talking about high glycemic index foods. So on a medical level, glycemic index means how quickly do you release sugar into the blood and therefore insulin spikes, right? So high GI foods are sugar and fruits. Fruit drinks are really bad. You've got sucrose, you've got the types of things that you have in let's go a little bit medical here. You've got monosaccharides, disaccharides, which are two little molecules together, and polysaccharides. So monosaccharides are like the carbs that are the quickest, most refined sugar. Monosaccharides are things like sweets, chocolates, the stuff that literally you can eat and you instantly feel like the sugar spike. That's a monosaccharide effect. Then we have disaccharides, which are very close linked, and they're fruits. Now, if you eat the fruit as an actual fruit, that's better for you. It takes a little bit longer to break down into a monosaccharide, and the energy spike will be like pretty immediate, but not as quick as the sugar spike, right? But you're still gonna be converting it back to sugar. Fruit drinks, as a result, because it's in a liquid format, it's almost broken down the molecules a lot faster and you get the sugar spike faster. So fruit drinks are actually worse for you than a actual fruit. So stick to fruits if you want to, but ideally avoid any of the monosaccharides and disaccharides. So anything sweet, chocolate, candy, to the fruits, like keep it to a minimal level. And if you're going to have fruit, eat the actual fruit, not a fruit drink. Now, polysaccharides are like basically lots of little molecules put together, and lots of monosaccharides, and they're like the starchy foods, like the pastas, like all of the stuff that we absolutely love. But I would say those ones are, when it's too much starch involved, it will make you sluggish and the digestion is slower. So don't eat that stuff. If you're going to have anything that if you're like a carb addict and you need to have some sort of carb because you feel like your energy will not work otherwise, or be at any kind of high level, then I would say stick to oats. Oats are a low glycemic index, meaning that this is a polysaccharide that has lots of molecules in that carbohydrate. It takes longer to break them down, and therefore the sugar spike is much more gradual. You don't get like some crazy like volatile spike in your blood. So sugar spikes are what helps maintain your energy levels. When you have less sugar spikes, you are the kind of individual that has good energy balance throughout, and they can deal with like madness coming into their life, and you can be calmer. When you have someone who is all over the place, lots of sugar in their life, and caffeine, which I have got on my list as well, then sugar and caffeine, lots of that going on, you will be the person that will be like happy one moment and crazy the next moment, like get really angry, moody, grumpy, like the kind of people that change their mood so quickly when they're either hungry or like feel like they have to have another sugar hit. Those kind of people are going to get stressed out so much. So if you want to be at your top level, learn a bit about carbohydrates, like look at monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides, and understand what starch does to your body too. And in a nutshell, stick to low glycemic index foods, and that's where you find that at the very top, when there's polysaccharides and they give you a spike. And white pasta is not good for us. So although that is a pasta and it's like polysaccharide, it is refined, it's not natural. So go with the natural kind of oat type of thing, right? So there you go, enough science behind this, but the aim is please cut down on those crazy sugar spikes, because that will really help your energy levels and therefore your stress levels as a result. What do you replace your food with? Obvious, You got to put in more protein and more vegetables. And yes, you can argue, well, veg has carbs in it too, but it's a different type, and it is definitely low glycemic index. Protein as a protein is not a carbohydrate, so it does work very differently, and in our body it actually gives us less hunger as a, you know, and you can even go for the nuts and the fats, you know, they can give you less hunger pangs. So you do need to be a bit of a nutritionist when it comes to understanding stress. So I hope that little tiny insight has helped you understand. Keep away from the high sugar levels for any event that you want to be on top form. If you need the energy, stay away from the fruit drinks, stay away from sugar, stay away from all kinds of immediate sugar hits, and go for the oats and stick to proteins and vegetables if you can. And that is going to be such a game changer. Fill up your life with that, and you will definitely feel a lot more calmer, sustained energy levels, and your stress levels will be something that naturally will fall. That's just number one. Okay, simple, no medication required. Just watch how you eat, because as we all know, when someone is stressed out, we actually use less brain power when we're stressed out. Our brain goes from using a parasympathetic nervous system, which is kind of, you know, the nice kind of calm individual, to then the fight or flight, which is called the sympathetic nervous system. And when we're in that fight or flight mode, we don't think with our brain, really. We're thinking on autopilot, quick fix, quick shortcut, you know, to survival mode. And that is going to be a sugar. And that's why when we're stressed out, we grab the quickest sugar that we can get. And actually, another reason why human beings are so flawed is that our brain is designed to actually give us a feel good when we have sugar, you know. So why do people, when they're stressed out, depressed, etc., why do they eat so much sugar? Because it actually gives you some sort of serotonin release, which is a happy hormone. And can you imagine, like, the quickest fix to feeling good is eating sugar? Well, obviously people who are stressed out are naturally going to eat sugar, but I'm trying to show you consciously, please put a stop to that. You know, like, I'm trying to break the process by being conscious about it, by educating you on this. It will help you then understand, oh gosh, I really need to check how I eat to maintain if you're stressed out and like depressed even, like, it's all linked to your gut. So this is one of the key things you need to understand. Learn about nutrition. I've only just touched it a little tiny bit. Okay, number two, naturally, I'm going to talk about exercise. Now, if you're not someone if you're someone who doesn't exercise, oh my God, I'm going to ask you why on earth? Like, if anyone is designed to be ambitious, or like if you have ambitions in your life and you tell me, oh, you want to be this millionaire, multimillionaire, whatever, I don't believe you unless I know that you work out, and it has to be regular. Like, if you want to take rest days, that's fine, but don't take more than 2, because your brain and your physiology and your chemicals in your body that make you feel good again, they require exercise. They need the endorphins from exercise. So if you have too many days off, you go flat. Like, your body and the chemical imbalance will change, you know. So you need that constant, like, good hormone. Just think of it as another burst of like good hormones coming out when you exercise. Look, if you're not someone who exercises on a regular basis, just do a regular walk to start with, but you got to work that stress level, and it all comes down from cardio. Actually, if you want to master stress, then you need to do high intensity interval training. That's HIIT training, and that is designed, try and do that in the morning, because if you do it after you're stressed out, it'll actually make you worse. I know it sounds crazy, but if you do in high intensity interval training in the mornings before you start your crazy life, because we can't avoid a crazy life, it's just going to be how well are you going to manage it. You're training your heart to deal with volatility, you know, like stress and the emotional impact of stress. So do that before, because if you do it afterwards, a lot of people are like, okay, I'll get my work done first and then I'll go to the gym, and your stress levels are really high. Then when you go to the gym and maybe you do some crazy HIIT session, I don't know, people going to spin classes and whatever, they end up actually creating more stress hormones, or the stress hormone called cortisol, because you've done it at the end of the day, and that's been a whole day of stress hormone building up. Then you go and add further stress by like doing more crazy stuff. So try and do it in the mornings and elevate yourself so that actually the stress levels are going down, and any moment that you have this blip in the day, you just can have a couple of moments of deep breathing and it will go back. But because you're more in control when you've worked out in the morning. I know it's difficult sometimes for people to fit it in. Look, all I'm going to say is sleep earlier, wake up earlier if you have to, but you need to try and get a workout in or some sort of cardiovascular activity before you start your day, because you will 100% see the benefits. Like even me, there are days when I think I really don't want to work out in the morning. I'd rather just, have a coffee and carry on. But I see the difference in stress levels. I literally become more stressed because I haven't worked out in the morning. Okay, moving on swiftly to number 3. Number 3 is again linked to stuff that we have to do every single day, but we probably do it very badly, which is go to sleep. Like, sleep properly. The quality of your sleep is the most important thing for everything. I've heard a phrase from one of these scientists that I follow on social media, very, very clever guy from Harvard. And he says very often, don't ask people how they are, ask them how good is your sleep, and that will reveal a lot more about that person. Try it out. Next time you say it to your friend or your colleague at work or your business colleague, say, instead of saying how are you feeling, just say how's your sleep recently or last night. And if they've had a good sleep, that you caught them on a good day. Most people struggle to get a good sleep. Why? Because you're constantly on a mobile phone before you go to bed, and that will create so much blue light and stimulation in the brain that you actually reduce your sleep hormone called melatonin, which we all know what that is, right? It's the natural circadian rhythm, and you need melatonin to be increasing in the evening so you get sleepy and you fall asleep. But most people ruin that process because they're in front of the laptop. Stop working at night, stop doing the crazy. If you're a night owl, you're really going to ruin your hormonal balance in your body, and actually you're more prone to be overweight because you have become addicted to working at night, and you ruin your circadian rhythm and your whole melatonin cycle, and you're actually going to get more immune issues, autoimmune diseases. You're going to have more illnesses in the future. So let's just take this bit seriously. Most people, and I don't believe, and I want to put this statement out very, very clearly, I don't believe in I'll sleep when I die. You're more than likely going to die quicker if you don't sleep. That's a guarantee. But it is not the way to be successful. I think it's a very old, played out statement from God knows when this started, that, sleep is for the weak, etc. I just sleep 3 hours, 4 hours, and I'm up. I hate that, because those kind of people end up being mentally unstable, and they're actually very unhealthy to do work with or business with. So what I'm trying to encourage you to do is stop using your mobile phone before you go to bed. Stop being on any kind of laptop, or if you're in front of the TV, dim the lights everywhere, and try and do this 2 hours before your scheduled sleep time. Try and sleep at the same time every day, and wake up with at least 7 hours. Try and get 7 hours, there is so much neuroscience behind sleep. I could talk about this for a whole 20-30 minutes straight, but I'm not going to. All I'm going to say is get obsessed with sleep. Get a good sleep and wake up in the morning, feel refreshed, and you will find, oh my God, this is so worth it. Do it a few times and you'll see a whole change in your personality. It's a huge game changer. But please don't underestimate how important sleep is. Look, there are so many books on my shelf all about sleep. If you want to learn more about sleep, there are 2 people that come to mind straight away. One is Arianna Huffington. She's got a book all about sleep deprivation, I think it's called. And then number 2 is the Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. He's a really, really good book. He's a great author, and then his book is great. Arianna Huffington was actually the first person I read, and she's obsessed with this because she was a person who was from Huffington Post. She created that, and she just burnt out, crashed on the floor, and any cracks her head open type of thing, so this is something that she personally suffered from because she was overworking and underestimated sleep, but then she became obsessed with it. So there are people that have done everything wrong in this department that are now helping others, and that's why I love kind of doing the same, because I'm someone who had terrible sleep for many years, and it affected my mental health massively. I took my sleep more seriously after financial trading got into my life, because initially I was just crazy wired, and it affected my trades. When I started getting a very strict discipline into my life, everything made sense better, and I made more money as a result of it. So if you guys want to be rich, all of the things I've just said will help you. So we're on number 3 yet. So we've done number 1, avoid the high carbs. Number 2, don't avoid exercise, a maximum 2 days rest between exercise days. Number 3, get at least 7 hours of sleep, and really, look after that sleep routine that you have, if you have one. If you don't, you need one. Number 4, linked to all of this, is alcohol. Now, there has been a study about alcohol actually causes brain shrinkage. Now, if you don't believe me, here's a link on my description about this, because I was like, what, really? Like, alcohol causes brain shrinkage? Well, so they have found. I know alcohol is really bad for you. I'm someone who doesn't drink because it affects my sleep. It genuinely, actually, what I knew about alcohol is that, of course, it's a poison, it's toxic, it goes into your liver and it causes, like anything, but it's the most accepted drug that we have. And that's why people are kind of not understanding the effects that alcohol has. I don't drink anything. If I want to have a good sleep, I will never drink alcohol. Probably have a sip or two like twice a year, and it doesn't do anything for me. Like, I'm not interested in. Some people have a personality issue, they need alcohol to feel like they can talk to people. I've never had that problem. So anyway, my point is, avoid alcohol. If you want good sleep and to be at the top of your brain power and peak performance and to deal with stress better, take alcohol out of your life. Just try it for 1 week and see what happens. It will be incredible for you. Because what I used to be obsessed with is how alcohol stops your deep sleep pattern. It removes the REM sleep in your sleep cycle. And it just made me a very light sleeper, even lighter than ever before. So if you've got alcohol-related addiction, you're going to be a very bad sleeper. No quality sleep is in your life at the minute, and actually affects your health, obviously. So please look after your peak performance levels by avoiding alcohol. There you go. Okay, number 5. The next thing that you got to do if you want to be top of your game is consistently keep learning. Now, this is something I'm really, really, really impressed about when I see a successful person, because don't forget, I'm dealing with the most successful corporate executives sometimes, CEOs or C-level executives on PLCs for public listed companies, so, and business owners, like some multi-million net worth, like individuals come to me, and I'm so amazed. I'm like, wow, you're still here and you've made so much money and so much success in your life. But that's why they're successful. And I fully appreciate it, because I'm one of those people. I'm addicted to learning. But that's what keeps someone at the top of their brain power and reduces stress, is constantly learning. Actually keeps you, okay, I'm just going to paraphrase it, but it keeps your brain younger, to keep learning new material and self-development in particular. How to improve yourself is the best education you could ever invest your time and money in. Like, that's why I'm obsessed with being a mentor. I absolutely love the results I see in my mentees, and I constantly pay myself for further education. Like, I don't want to stop. Just because you've got money, it doesn't mean you've made it. Just because you've achieved a level of success doesn't mean you made it. You got to keep learning. And that brings me to number 6. One of the biggest issues in the world is when people are just, going in the rat race, run of the mill, like they just keep repeating the same process every day, whether it's in business or corporate life, and they lack real fulfillment. And you know why that is? It's because they lack purpose. If you haven't got purpose in your life, if you don't have a reason of why you do what you do, and this was me once upon a time, because I had this problem before I started coaching. Like, I had retired in my 20s. I had made millions in property. I didn't need to do anything else. I went into financial trading just because I was bored. And then I thought, okay, oh my God, I can make money from a laptop and I can go anywhere in the world, and I was making more money. But then actually I was thinking, I don't really care about the money. It wasn't giving me contentment. It wasn't giving me any kind of fulfillment. There was something missing, because I had outgrown myself to a point. I'd paid for my family's needs. When I say family, I mean my parents and my siblings. Like, my driving force when I was building wealth was to provide for my parents and my siblings where they needed. I just wanted to be the provider for financial requirements anyway, and I became that quite soon in my 20s. And after that, I was like, well, what's next? As it comes for me, I'm not that, I don't need that much to live off. I'm quite a normal person in relative sense. But what was lacking in my life was purpose. And I had to raise my game a lot more. And it wasn't until 2012 when I went into a big, because I was obsessed with self-development at this point, because I started self-development in 2004, never looked back. I kept going down the rabbit hole further. I kept learning. I was rocking up to big conferences just because I wanted to. I loved it, and I still do. And at that point, I saw everyone who was talking about the good stuff, money, business, property, financial trading, anything. They were all men. And there was one female, and she was talking about the most pointless topic at the time, which was how to dress. And I got annoyed at that, and I thought, I went to the promoter. I said, why have you not got any quality female speakers? And the promoter, knowing me at the time, because they knew me from Facebook and social media, they said, well, it's because someone like you is not on the stage. And that was a thing that planted a seed in my mind, like, oh my God, this could be my bigger purpose. It's got to be a purpose that scares you. A lot of people ask, well, why do you mentor if you're already successful? Oh my God, if people like me and other successful people did not mentor others, there'd be a major lack of purpose, and there'll be like this snowball effect that would just come to an end. Because if every successful person just kept all the secrets to themselves, life is very boring. It's very boring. Like business, I find business alone very boring. Just talking to one person, or just closing a deal and making money for me and that person we negotiate. It's a little battle between me and this company or whatever, just to close a deal in my favor. I mean, that's not much of a fulfillment, I'll be honest. Like, I have money, great. That's not enough. But what makes me very excited now is the purpose I've given myself, which is I'm the world's first female financial trader educator on the planet, and that was in 2012. Now, obviously, there's more, and that's what I love, but I was the first. Incredible. And now I'm in a mission to, I've had so many women come to me and say, because of you, I have done XYZ, I've really pushed. Even men, I'm helping people get wealthier, and that purpose is a game changer. So I'm doing it for really being an example to others and showing people, here's the path, walk it. And that's the purpose that I live for. And that's why I'm doing these YouTube videos, because there would be no way in hell that I would rock up and do a video like this for myself, because I know this stuff, it's not about me. So whenever I do anything at Fortune Academy or the Billionaire Project, it's about elevating other people's game, and together we will succeed, and that's my biggest purpose. And I want people to say thank you to Hither, that she helped me get some major investment for my company, and now I can serve much more in my company, in my client base. I've reached this global, or I've become financially free because of Hither, and because of that I've had a better relationship, my family life is better, I've helped my parents, my kids, and I've got, that's what money does for other people. They did it for me. And even I encourage every single one of them. I said, eventually when you get to a point, you're going to need a purpose too. So money alone is not enough. You need purpose. And that is number 6, because a lot of people, put yourself in a corporate executive's role. They're sitting in this high paid job, just rocking up, turning up because they get paid by a paycheck. I feel like the paycheck disables people's mindset. So if you're in a 9-to-5 right now, you really need to have a lot of self-development, because no one's going to help you get out of your 9-to-5 cycle, or the rat race, or make you feel like you should be an entrepreneur, or encourage you to think like an entrepreneur. I honestly believe that real freedom comes from being an entrepreneur. So I want to help individuals, 1, make more money, 2, think like an entrepreneur and invest their money wisely, and number 3, buy freedom, like real freedom. Freedom for me is time and money. Money buys me time, and therefore I can choose to live how I live. Pick the partner that you want, not just settle, and live a life that you really want, not just make it happen because, oh, I have no choice, this is the way it is, so I have to live here. Live where you want. That's the kind of life that I'm all about. And I know from my background, if I could do it, then I can definitely help others, and I have done. So anyway, those 6 hacks are what you need in your life. Those things, remember them. They're not difficult. You need to avoid high carb foods. You need to exercise. And if you take a break, no more than 2 days apart, then you need at least 7 hours sleep. Please try it. Avoid alcohol, completely. You'll see a game change difference in you, Then you have to be committed to self-development, keep reading, learning, getting a mentor, invest in your education of learning about you better, become a better investor, become a better individual, learn about all the sabotage that's holding you back. That is the mindset before money slogan that I'm obsessed with at Fortune Academy, this is what it's all about. And then last but not least, try and find your reason for being, like reason for existing. Don't just exist, have some purpose behind it and have some real meaning and higher philosophy in your life. And that's what I'm really trying to encourage you when I say find a purpose. Because, and I guess I should add this bit too, don't worry if it changes. Like, I don't want you to always just be one thing. Like, redefine yourself, keep elevating your game, but you'll find you'll be very aligned to a singular purpose. But you as a person may change and elevate through that over time. So I hope this was useful. I know that I had a lot to say, and to be honest, this is kind of the way I coach as well. Like, when I work with you, I will raise your game so much. Look, how can you work with me? If you ever want to work with me, which I really hope you do, just click on the link below and just answer a free questionnaire, because what I like to do first is understand where you're at, so I know what change level you need to go through. So I need to know whether you're in a corporate life or if you've got a business, and then we just go from there. So enjoy the questionnaire. It's completely free of charge. You can speak to my team, and I do lots of free events. That's why I actually do the free events, because I don't expect people to just, pay a lot of money to come to Monte Carlo, because it is a lot of money. But I want you to come to free events, see what I'm like with you, and if it feels like a right fit, then we'll work together, so that's all it comes down to. Otherwise, this YouTube video, I really hope has added value in your life. So please share this with someone that needs to hear it, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you have any other topics that you want me to talk about, in a YouTube video, I promise I will do it. In fact, I have so many recommendations recently that I will be. Thank you to all of the individuals who recommend topics for me to talk about and discuss for you guys here. I will do that. So I will be putting regular content out. It should be every Sunday, but keep a lookout and subscribe to the channel, ring the bell notification so you can actually constantly get notified when I release a video. But thanks, guys. Have an amazing day, whatever day it is that you're watching this. And please look after your stress levels, because everything I've said here is so worth it. And I want to see the benefits just from this YouTube video. So thanks. Have a good day. Speak soon.